the question I had asked the witness was, who is he at war with? And he says he's at war with the system. And then he gave a long answer about the war that he's waging with the system. Now, the reason I asked you that question, General, is because you said you're at war. But it's also apparent to, I think, anyone who's watching the Commission and the ad hoc committee that there appears to be a war or serious conflict within the top management of the SAPS. Would I be right to say that? That there are factions, let me use the word that others use, that there are factions.
Your mic, General, your mics.
What I like is the fact that she also could not avoid the word war. Before she goes to faction and the other one, we are at war. There are factions, I do agree. There are conflicts in the police that led to a situation where we are. This is what is unfortunately going on.
And it also is clear from your evidence and some of your answers over the past days that there's hostility that you have towards Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
There's no hostility. There was no hostility because even when he made that press briefing, or before the press briefing, just to give one example, I'm not going to be long. You remember when he made a statement that says the minister called for a meeting in an attempt to broker peace between myself and him. In fact, it was him who asked for a meeting, but in that meeting, he says in his press briefing, he said, Minister, there can never be peace between a policeman and a criminal. But when you look at a week or two thereafter, he invites me in writing to the Police Excellence Awards and Police Day. He invited me, and then we were communicating also. So there was no really conflict. I tried several times to make a relationship work, to build a relationship. I even sent Brigadier Sergeant Nkosi to KZN to go sit down with General Mkhwanazi and say, the general wants to know, why are we fighting? Because personally, I'm left with 2 years to go home, and I don't want to spend the remaining years of my life fighting. So I sent him, and why I sent him is because of their close relationship. They are bikers, both of them as well, with General Mkhwanazi. Said, please go down there and try to say, but I'm not fighting, we're not fighting, can we fix? So I tried even myself.
Okay, so now let me go back to the record of chats that we have to open this up further with you. I'm going to, so it's still those files 7, 8, and 9. Can you go to file 7 at page 336? Okay. Stop.
Page 336, Chair.
Yeah, 336. So here, Sergeant Nkosi, if you look at chat number 3, all the way to chat number 1 on the next page. Do you see that Sergeant Nkosi is sharing some clips with you? Some audio, video clips?
Yes.
Okay, so this is now, let me say, 10 April 2024. Okay, so let's just go to that first clip.
Page?
It's going to have to be played because they're audio and video files. So this is a TikTok video.
Do you know when were they erected? I do not know. What do you know? I know that I'm Jerome Kwanas and I'm a police officer.
Were you able to hear that?
I didn't.
Can we play it again? And is there a way to get the volume up?
Because the number of days during the day you say there were barricades. The barricades stood in Phoenix for a couple of days. They were not there in one day. Do you know when were they erected? I do not know. What do you know? I know that I'm a police officer.
Okay. Were you able to hear that, Chair? Were you able to hear that, General?
Yes.
You've seen this before, this clip.
Yes.
Yeah. Why was Sergeant
Perhaps, Ms. Asim, if we could be told what it is, because we've heard it differently. It's not similarly audible to everybody. So maybe if someone can say
okay.
what is being...
Isn't there a transcript?
There is not a transcript, Chair. It was audible when I heard it, when I listened to it myself at home. What I can say is it is the South African Human Rights Commission hearings into the July unrest. That's where General Mkhwanazi is speaking. And he speaks about the barricades, whether there were barricades.
Riots in July 2021.
Yes. So the question is about whether there were barricades or there weren't barricades. He seems to be denying that the barricades arrived, and it ends with, what do you know? And he says, I know I'm Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi and I'm a cop, I think, a police officer. Yeah, so that's basically what's the content of the clip. Now, what I'd like to know from you, General, is why did Sergeant Nkosi share this with you, and what was the interest in this clip?
Maybe something that he came across TikTok and say, listen to this.
What did you make of it?
Well, I was listening to the way he's responding to the commissioner of human rights when he was asked a question, what do you know about this? And then he said, I do not know. And then they ask him a question, what do you know? Then he says, I know that I'm General Mkhwanazi and that I'm a police officer. So that's what I know. So now, as to why he sent it to me at that time, in this frame of mind where I am now, after so many months, I'm not able to really know the mood and the space we were at that point in time.
Okay. Can we go to the next clip, please? So that's not there's nothing spoken there, but it's just a clip which says that General Mkhwanazi reports to Minister Cele and has some qualifications. What was the purpose of sharing that with you?
You see, I quite honestly do not know. And because I don't have my devices, I'm also in a position, not in a position to accept or deny where I'm sitting. I don't know. But to me, it's an irrelevant thing for me.
I'm not sure what you mean by for you it's irrelevant. So what I'm showing you here is a series of clips that are shared, that Sergeant Nkosi shares with you, that specifically concern Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and that is in April 2024, 10 April 2024. Maybe we could just play the remainder and then you can respond to all in one go.
You need to get me the name of the person I'm talking about. He must be the commissioner of police, that guy, or anyone similar to that guy. I told Becky when we were in that place where the whites were trying to destroy a police station. Senegal, it was me and Nkwenazi came. I said to Becky, this is the guy who must be a police commissioner, not these things you're offering to us all the time, who are driven by corruption and not to protect the streets. And one of the things that I requested the minister to cease from doing, because the day before coming here, she was on television and telling South Africans that over 800 SNDF members were already deployed. And I warned the minister, you do not go public and tell lie and say these numbers are deployed, because they are not. Did you say that in those words? Exactly, in that closed meeting. That's only one thing I can say. That you please say it again on record? I said, Minister, you can't go to in front of television and communicate things that are not happening on the ground. It's a lie that there are 800 soldiers here. They are not. What was her response? Well, she didn't respond. She kept quiet. This was a telephone discussion between you and the minister. That was a verbal communication, that closed meeting that she said. I started telling them about things that had nothing to do with an operation, which was accusing me on when she appeared here.
Criminals amongst us. You'll have this youngster from this house who drives expensive cars, he wears expensive clothes, but is unemployed. So the word is going to go around that, no, this one is getting his money from criminal activities and the like. So a police station commander must know about that person. So once you know about that person, then we employ what we call man marking. So we start following that individual, just to be interested to know, how does he make the living? So it is that leads us in arresting those criminals. It leads us into confrontation with them most of the time, because we make it our business to get to know who's a troublemaker. So that's by so doing we prevent. Obviously, when we get to know that these are the people, we go into a mode of getting them arrested so that we can remove them from society. But in the process of us trying to arrest them, as you asked earlier, they start fighting, and it's the fight that we end up winning with.
I think that was the last one, Chair. That was the last one, General. So those are a series of video clips that involve Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi that Sergeant Nkosi shared with you. Why would he think you interested in seeing the series of video clips of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi? And they're not all about one issue. It's different issues from different points in time. So it's been harvested from the internet, obviously.
Well, in some instances, I would say it's extrajudicial killings, where you find that there is a scene and then it will be like yet another murder committed by the police, or another subject killed by the police in KZN. And all these videos that have been shown, they've got good or bad, or good and bad. In a sense that, when I say good and bad, bad in a sense that you see the extrajudicial killings or where that a person has been killed, but also where you hear, you see, as human beings, we must respect authority. You can't go on national TV and then tell the nation and say, Minister, I told the minister that, Minister, you do not go out there and lie. There must be a more decent way of being able to put something like that.
General, let me just ask, maybe to try and get you back to the question. You've already said it's a mix of good and bad. The extrajudicial killing that you referred to is not apparent from the videos, at least from the one video we saw. Police vehicles, we see, I think, your forensic pathology vehicles. But when you say extrajudicial, you're speaking to something that you know, or that a conversation that's not before us, and maybe that's really the nub of the question. That you must have been discussing General Mkhwanazi with Sergeant Ngosi for him, and maybe not just General Mkhwanazi, but in this case, because we are looking at video clips that were sent to you, and all of them are about General Mkhwanazi. So it would seem there would have been some discussions between you and Sergeant Ngosi. And Sergeant Ngosi is sending you these videos and clips to say, see what they say about him. There has to be that context to it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense that he would have sent these things to you.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, looking at these videos, that's why I said good and bad, in the sense that I still believe that for me, and I know that the chair did not agree with me when I say, for me, this loads and loads of TikToks on or about General Mkhwanazi out there every day, and a series of them in different accounts. It's something that should not be encouraged, because when you look at all the provincial commissioners, all of them, they don't have the same thing, not because of they can't, but simply because of the fact that they are restricted from doing it. Now, whether directly or indirectly, I say I don't have an account. It's not me, and I'm not but all my pictures of camouflage, my pictures of every meeting of this and this, they all end up in the media. Everything. So someone is investing in PR, and others are investing in hardware.
General, let me stop.
General, maybe my interpretation of what happened between you and me when we had that exchange, maybe my recollection may not be accurate, but this is what I remember. And I do not think you can interpret it as disagreement. What I did was to test what you were saying. You said your prescripts, police prescripts, do not allow the social media presence that General Mkhwanazi has. Am I correct?
Correct, Chair.
Yes. I then asked you whether General Mkhwanazi's presence is as a result of accounts, social media accounts that he himself holds, and that he then posts on his own social media accounts, and maybe there are then responses to his posts and so on. Do you remember that I asked you that?
I do, Chair.
Yes. And I went further and said, is it not more a case of others posting General Mkhwanazi on social media? I do not remember what your answer was to that. But all I'm trying to demonstrate is it was not a case of me disagreeing, but it was more a case of me testing what you were saying. Do you agree?
I agree.
Thank you.
Chair. Oh, thanks, Chair. Yes, General. I interrupted you at a point where you were going a bit, but not answering the question that I had asked. My question was that you've got these things that is being sent to you by Sergeant Nkosi, and you describe them as good and bad. There's a mix of good and bad. And what I was putting to you was the context in which he sent this, because there's no text in all of this. He doesn't explain why he's sending them. It's not obvious to the reader why he would have sent this. And so I'm suggesting to you that the context must have been that you and him were discussing about General Mkhwanazi. What do you say to that direct question? I may be wrong by placing that context, by suggesting that is the context, and you can say I am wrong and maybe explain why you say that was not the context.
It's possible that it is something that he came across on TikTok, then he forwarded them, not because of we were discussing it.
Okay.
But I don't deny that I had a lot of discussions with
Sergeant
Nkosi about General Mkhwanazi.
Okay.
Because I mean, for me to be able to send him down to meet General Mkhwanazi, he was also sending him to talk to me. So we were actually trying to mend the relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, General. Mr. Singh?
Thanks. Let me take you to the next part of these chats that, again, was sharing of information on Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and that's on page 204.
I've got it.
Okay, so you'll see at page 204 from chat number 1 all the way down to the next page, and then page after, the third page, which is page 206. There are screenshots that are sent to you by Sergeant Nkosi. You see that?
Yes, I do.
So let's just go to those screenshots. It's at page 280.
218.
280.
80. Thank you.
Same file.
Yes. Okay, you'll see it's, sorry, and this is just for the date, it's 12 January 2025, when Sergeant Nkosi shares this with you. You'll see it's a City Press article about Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi being suspected of defeating the ends of justice. And it's very long if you just page through it. It's screenshots of this article, so it goes on for quite a number of pages. Okay, do you see that?
That's correct.
Do you remember receiving this?
I don't remember, but I won't deny it either.
So after, and you see what the article is about. Do you see that story? It starts off with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi being suspected of defeating ends of justice. I think it's got to do with the Mpangeni case. So at the end of all of this, you respond to Sergeant Nkosi on the 12th of January, 2025. You say, well explained, I think. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then he responds saying he's furious. We'll talk to you tomorrow when we meet. What did you mean by that? Well explained.
Well explained.
Yes.
I could have been referred to what I see maybe here and say it is well explained here.
But what was your interest in this article, and why was Sergeant Nkosi sharing it with you? You respond saying, well explained. It sounds like the article is, I'm not sure, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Well explained. And then he says he's furious. I assume that's Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Yes. Well, you see, when he says well explained, it's the way I read it here. Let's say, for instance, this is how what was written, and I don't even know it's in the same article, one and the same article, continuous from start to finish. And or maybe when I say Netsuanda said the provincial commissioner was perplexed as he was not aware of any arrest of an area commissioner in his province. The provincial commissioner then took it upon himself to investigate the matter, only to find that a team deployed by the national head office to safeguard the Richards Bay minerals was behind the intended. Now, I could have been saying well explained, referring to this explanation.
Okay, but what was your interest in this? Why were you and Sergeant Nkosi interested in this?
I thought we passed that stage because the previous answer was the same question. That says, why were you exchanging these things? And then we said it's maybe the message that we're circulating. And then the next question was, okay, isn't it that maybe the two of you were discussing Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi? I then said, okay, it's possible also because we were in those type of discussions. So the same question will apply basically. Why were you discussing?
Okay, that was April 2024. This is January 2025. Your answer remains the same.
Yes.
Okay. Then on 28 January 2025, if you go to page 217, specifically chat number 6.
Sorry, Chair. I want to respond. I'm going to respond. But what worries me, Chair, quite honestly speaking, is that, you see, I have lots and lots that I could also put forward. But where you find that it was not accepted, or maybe like the chair said, no, put in a supplementary. But at some point, I go feeling like it looked like the evidence leader is General Mkhwanazi's lawyer, not really probing. But if ever I'm wrong, it's her job to really maybe probe and ask this type of questions. I apologize for that. But the only thing is that it's like I feel here standing like I'm speaking to a lawyer of General Mkhwanazi, asking me questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? And when in fact I can't account sometimes for some of the things that were said or sent to me by Nkosi. But unfortunately, if I'm wrong, I will accept it. I was just raising it. There's a concern that it's like I'm standing in front of General Mkhwanazi's lawyer and not really being probed by the commission. So I was just raising that concern.
Can
Yes,
I respond first, Chair? No, I'm an evidence leader. I'm not here representing anybody. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm here to put to you what evidence we have, as I've said to you many times. The relevance of all of this is about the faction fight within the top management of the police service.
But I feel that it is one-sided because my side of the story in terms of faction fighting is really not on the table. Whether I supplemented or I could have supplemented, I didn't know that if this is about faction fighting, I could balance the chairs in such a way that as I'm being approached with this, my side of the story covering where I'm coming from will also be covered. But the way the line of questioning came, it came through the way I was led by the evidence. Read your statement, and then from there we went to different files. From this file, we moved from this file, from that file to that file. Now, I'm just worried that, Chair, I'm not running away from this. I'm going to respond to this. But all I'm saying is that I'm sitting here feeling just a pity that one side is being played, and then the other side, not much is coming from the other side. As much as witnesses were called from 7 July, after this commission was formed, many times, one narrative being pushed, and then I come here at the last minute, I feel like an accused person where I'm sitting. And then when one narrative has been pushed over a period of time. So I don't want to talk too much on it, Chair, but I'm just cutting myself before the Chair says it's too much.
General, you did have an opportunity to put any evidence you wished before this commission. You did provide a 90-page affidavit with many, many annexes, and then a supplementary affidavit. Nothing stopped you from putting anything you wished to regarding this faction. It's a very serious issue because it's what seems to have brought about this commission. So, you know, there was nothing preventing you from doing that. And I don't think I should be curtailed in my questioning because you're not comfortable with it. Chair, that's all I have to say about it.
Perhaps just on the aspect that the faction is what led to the establishment of the commission. My understanding is that that was because of the allegations that were made by General Kwananzi. And I don't think, or rather, a substantial portion of those do not necessarily have anything to do with the faction. So
I take that point, Chair.
Yes,
it
yes.
has become an issue as it's developed.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Hassim.
Maybe in the meantime, let me say what my interest is in these exchanges, or what piques the interest.
I wanted to raise the second point before that. I don't want to stop there. I can't. I don't have that authority. But the second point, and I want the Chair to hear, is still busy. The second point that I wanted to...
Wait, General, so that the Chair can hear you. Just hold for it.
I'll listen just now, General.
Okay.
Yes, General.
The second point that I just wanted to raise as a much serious concern to me is that a press briefing was made. The next thing, my devices were taken. Then I got suspended, never allowed any access to anything, and being overwhelmed, like a shock and awe type of approach where we are being overwhelmed from different directions. Now, I'm being told now by the commission, I don't mean Chair, by the evidence leader that you had ample time to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what they do, they paralyze you. They take your devices. After they take your devices, they see what is in your devices. They use it against you. What is in their devices, they took that. What is against them, let's say Sergeant Nkosi's phone is removed, is being removed. The same way applies, like let's say, when Kat Matala's phone was found, certain chats were deleted and deleted and deleted. Now, you've got a complainant who is a complainant who investigates, and then who's the one now running all the investigation. The PKT, the same PKT that I'm being accused of attempting to disband is the one that is running, investigating me now. Now the report that came from Madlanga that went to the president, the people that must investigate is still the same Kwanazi again. So now I feel really helpless and pushed in a corner. That's why I'm saying, Madam Evidence Leader, I understand you are evidence leader, but the problem is that the answers that I'm answering here, you are more prolific or more of a very vicious advocate that is defending or representing General Mkhwanazi. It's not like coming out in both sides, because there's no good side of mine that is being brought up from whatever that I have, because I have nothing to show. I don't have device, I have nothing. He's strong because now he's got all these things, he's got all the devices, he's got all the experts, he's still in the office, I'm outside, out there in the wilderness, no device, nothing, and I'm being put in a corner with these things. So, quite honestly speaking, the playing field is not leveled. So, that's my point.
Yes. General, what's happening now is a function of how these proceedings have been structured. If I may use that term, the allegers, I don't even know that there is such a noun, were led first. And this was done after an explanation was given right at the beginning that is how the process would unfold. Thereafter, the people implicated by the allegers, and you are one of them, would then be called. They would testify, give their side of the story, and would then be questioned by evidence leaders and obviously by us as well. And then right at the end, the allegers would come back. They would respond to what the implicated persons say, but, and importantly, and I hope this will go some distance towards addressing what you raise, which you see as being one-sided. When they come back and after responding to what the implicated persons say, they too will be subjected to cross-examination. So that is how the Commission has chosen to structure the process. It is not going to be, right at the end, you will see that it will not be, as you see it, one-sided. So Ms. Hassim is doing what was throughout envisaged, which is you tell your story and then you get questioned. Call it cross-examined. That is what is happening here. It is not one-sided.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'd only add, General, that it would go more smoothly if the answers were direct and we could move on. So there wouldn't need to be a constant back and forth on one issue all the time. So I'm going to continue.
And perhaps one crucial thing I thought of touching on as you were speaking, and I forgot now when I was responding to you, was I did not get a sense that you are not in a position to deal with these chats. Naturally, if you feel in respect of some that you are not able to, you are perfectly entitled to tell us so. But by and large, you have been able to deal with these chats and other evidentiary material for that matter. I'm touching on that in the context of you saying I'm subjected to this process after all my devices were taken away from me. So because your devices were taken away from me, perhaps you may not be able to respond to some of these things. In that event, feel free to tell us. But as I say, overall, you appear to be able to deal with these chats and other evidentiary material.
Can I comment, Chair?
Yes, General.
It is my wish that immediately after General Mkhwanazi made a press briefing, and they say everyone must stop, give us the evidence of what to get. You can give your statement and everything, but then what then happened? Then they started the investigation and start seizing people, securing evidence now after effect. Now they start seizing ours. And now arming themselves and deleting what needed to be deleted. That's what affected them. There's that unfair advantage on that side. Because now you go out there in public, you make some allegations. It was even referred to by the SG of the ANC to say that a senior officer going out there and making some disparaging allegations against people. Now, from there, then the investigation process starts. After making those allegations, now every little thing that was found in phones is being used. When the people's phones have been taken, theirs are not taken. So that's why I feel really that the playing field is not. But I've had the chair, I'm prepared, and I want to respond to these questions. Let's maybe perhaps proceed. I just wanted to register that uncomfortability of the fact that the playing field is not leveled, because I'm being thrown into the boxing ring with my hands tied at the back. I have nothing that I can refer to. I have no document that I can show. Don't have access to the office. I don't have access to any employee that I can talk to. Everything is being pushed in front of me here. Yes or no? What do you remember about this? Why were you discussing this? I have nothing to show. I wish we were all operating from the same strong points. Now I'm operating from a weak point of view from where I'm sitting. So I just wanted to say, I don't want to waste time really, Chair, but let's go according to this. I will respond to all of them, but I just wanted the evidence leader to also know that you are talking to a man who is blind now. Another one can see, another one is blind. And that's not a fair play.
Thank you, General. I've given the explanation that I gave. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Asim?
Thank you, General. So let me say to you also that we do have this evidence, and I want to give you an opportunity to comment. If you don't want to answer, then you don't. But you've said now you wish to respond to it. And I think we can get through this, expeditiously. Let me just take you to...
Just a minute, and perhaps for purposes of fairness and indeed even transparency for that matter. Ms. Killian, as a matter of law, I do not think that there is any bar to the general being assisted by his legal representatives, of course, having access to his devices for purposes of whatever responses he may want to give. I do not think there is any bar to that, and it's something that could and should, if it was seen as something necessary, have been done beforehand for the general to use for purposes of his responses, and indeed even for purposes of his own story, which he gave in the 90-page affidavit, which, if there was anything to be gleaned from those devices, would possibly even have been more than the 90 pages. Nothing stood in the way of the general and being assisted, as I say, by his legal representatives. So I'm raising this just to address the issue of the fairness, the issue of him being blindfolded, the issue of his hands being tied to his back, and him having to fight in that position. It's just an issue I'm raising, Ms. Killian. You may comment on it if you wish to.
I'm indebted. The devices referred to by the witness are currently sub judice in terms of an application that was launched to decide the validity of the search warrants and the seizure itself. We then subsequently learned that those devices were moved out of the control of the police to an independent third party to assess. So that is the status at this point in time. We can attempt, but I have a dim hope that we will be granted access.
Ms. Hassim?
Thanks, Chair. Can I continue?
Yes, you may comment if you want to, or continue, whichever you.
I think, the general is legally represented, and his legal representative is best placed to address the concern that the general has. What I can say is the evidence that we're going through now is the evidence that's relevant to the witness. And it's not that we are only picking out certain parts of the evidence. There are obviously conversations that there'll be others to come who are going to have to answer questions, even from the contents of the devices that were obtained from Sergeant Nkosi. So just on the issue of, what's still to come. But on access to the devices, I think that I agree with the position of the chair, and I think it's in the hands of the general's legal representatives to deal with.
I've been given to understand that the general will not, his testimony will not be finalized today, and that the general will be coming back at some future stage. I'm mentioning some future date. I'm mentioning that in the context of the possibility, Ms. Killian, that by then perhaps the devices may be back from this third party that you refer to, so that you and the general have access to them for purposes of extracting whatever material you may want to extract.
I'm indebted to
for the general's
Chair.
use.
We will attempt everything we can in order to gain access.
Yet, because I would be loath to see a situation where the general's testimony is finalized with a general feeling that he was treated unfairly because he did not have access to his devices when he feels that something useful to his testimony could have been gleaned from those devices.
Thank you, Chair.
You may continue with your questions, Ms. Hassim.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, let's try to get through this as quickly and painlessly as possible. We really are in the home stretch, I think, General. So the next page I'm taking you to is at page, where did I go? 217. It's 28 January 2025, and it's chat number 6. Okay, you'll see it's a press release, but let me go to see the actual press release.
217 of file number
7.
number 7. Yes,
Yeah, it's chat number 6. You forward this press release to Sergeant Nkosi. You'll find the press release at page 296. If you don't want to go there, it's up on the screen.
I've gone through it.
Okay, so you forwarded this to Sergeant Nkosi. Do you want to say why you forwarded it to him, or do you have any comment to make on it?
Yes, let's go back to it. Now, to start with, I'm looking at the level of arrogance on the side of a disciplined police official who says, we will challenge them legally and deal with them, but if they want to come physically, we will meet on the field. You can't say that as a disciplined member of policemen. We are not criminals, we are not street fighters. Maybe perhaps it was just around about the comment. Now, when they talk about a smear campaign against him originate within the organization, but Kwenas insists and his team that are not backing down. Now, the smear campaign that is talking about, when there is an issue mentioned about General Mkwanas, he regards it as a smear campaign. But when he raises something about a person, he's investigating. And I want to give an example. Let's look at Kalagabusha Prison, Correctional Service, where members went to conduct a search at Kalagabusha Correctional. And they went because they received information. As they went inside, and they searched the house, they found nothing. But as they leave their house inside the yard, but next to the door, there is a dustbin, they found drugs. Now, as to how General Mkhwanazi gets to call the policeman on the scene and speak to the policeman on the scene through the suspect's phone, and to me, it's wrong. Whether he was preventing a civil claim or whatever, I've listened carefully to the commissioners when they were raising about when General Sibiya sent the police at Mr. Katiso Molefe's house. And then the question was, why didn't you send local police officials? How long did you stay there? Now, in this case, General Mkhwanazi is a provincial commissioner. Is not supposed to be involved, not even once, not even a call. Let the police do their work. Or rather, let them do their work, call them in and say, are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? But for him to say, I don't want that woman arrested, you leave that person there, and then you bring the docket. To me, it was interference. And this is what I wish the commissioners could also look at it and begin to also ask questions really as intensely so like the way I'm responding to those that affects me. So looking at that part, and it's not the only one, but I'm just saying that, look, let's balance the equation here. If there's any wrong he has done, he must also account to it. Not him referring it as a smear campaign, but when it gets to others, he's investigating. When he meets certain people, like when he met Ket Matala, he was investigating. When we speak or meet Matala, no, we are a cartel. So I was just saying, let us approach this thing in a plain, fair, and square manner.
Okay, I've got that answer. Thank you. Let's just go to the next one. It's page 219 of file 7. Page 219. This is also sort of a press or some sort of story saying breaking police witnesses change statements for promotion. Police witnesses in the departmental case against Major General Feroz Khan. Crime intelligence deliberately changed their affidavits in exchange for promotion. And then there's this long story about it, which Sergeant Nkosi forwards to you. That's on 2nd February 2025. Is there any comment you have on that?
It's long, I'm trying to read. Chair, it's long. I was reading it, but I'm afraid that it may take the chair and the commission's time. So I see the chart. What is the question around it?
Well, it's an article about this disciplinary inquiry that General Khan was subjected to. Sergeant Nkosi sends it to you. And my question to you is merely, what's your comment? What's your interest in this? Why did he send it to you?
It has got a number of issues, the way I see it, because in some instances, they also talk about the witnesses who said they will be promoted and given, they will be promoted to the next level if they give statements against Khan. Something like that. I saw that. And if I'm to offer a comment, I have a matter now in the DPCI where that involved a matter that involved, I think it's General Mukwanazi, but where someone was promoted so that they can take him out of the environment. So it's something that is not in my affidavit. So I can't raise it now, but I'm just saying maybe the context of this is to say there were witnesses. There were witnesses who were promised to maybe be promoted. I don't know I'm not the author of this document, so I don't know even at that time what was the content, because sometimes a person says, "Read this. This is what I came across." It can be anything.
Okay, that same article. Sure. Sorry. And I think it's probably better if we just display it rather than getting the general to go to the page. It's page 1031. 1030.
Where's my other phone?
And
10?
1030. We'll display it on the screen, so you don't have to flip through the files. 1030, that's the same article that Sergeant Nkosi is sharing with General Shibiri. And on the same date, 2nd February 2025.
It's the same message that we read.
Same article.
Yeah.
Okay. He sends it to you. He sends it to General Shibiri, as we see there. And then on page, and again, you don't have to go there because we can just display it. On page 623, you'll see that Sergeant Nkosi also shares that article with Steve Mutsumi. 623.
It's now in file 8. Different
File 8.
mark.
It's there.
623. I've got it. Yes, I've got it.
Okay. So this is another story that's sort of doing its rounds. And it goes not only to you, but it goes to General Shibiri and to Steve Mutsumi. Do you have any comment on that?
I don't have any comment. I don't know why Nkosi sent it there.
Okay. Can we go to page 225?
The other,
File 7. And this time I think you should go to the file 225. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So 225, it's the first chat on that page. It is another sort of breaking news story that you forward to Sergeant Nkosi
Yes.
about a National Police rogue unit. And what it says is the NPA Investigative Directorate ID raids National Police Commissioner Fani Masimola and National Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Commando officers after serving them with notices of arrest. This comes after an investigation lodged by Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee. National Police Commissioner appeared weak and shaken, etc. So you see it, that's the article. You forward that to Sergeant Nkosi, and he responds to you saying, Ziyakhala manje. What did he mean?
Well,
What are you talking about with him here?
well, firstly, I think when this message was circulating, I don't know whether I was with the National Commissioner or where, I know that there's nothing like the National Commissioner appeared weak and shaken. I don't think it was true. I didn't believe in it, but if I did send it also maybe to Sergeant Nkosi, and it says it's his response, not for any other reason. And sometimes you find yourself sending something not because of you are circulating it, but because you want to confirm whether it's in fact true or not. From where was it? Because there are officials who are in a position to just get that information or to confirm whether is this true or not. Because remember that cases of IDEC or IPIT, we won't know about them and we won't have internal information about them. So sometimes when you find something like that, the same applies when we all heard that maybe General Kumalo is arrested. Now, firstly, we're not sure whether it's true or not. And then when you send someone can also say, yes, it's true or it's not true, or I also heard that. So it just happened like that, unfortunately. But it wasn't meaning anything.
But the response by Sergeant Nkosi is Ziyakhala manje. Who is he referring to? Who are they?
It says Ziyakhala manje, which means...
Who's crying?
No, there's no they here.
So what is he saying to you?
He says Ziyakhala manje.
Okay.
Meaning what, General?
No, I wanted her to say it because.
Well,
because
No, why don't you
Yeah,
tell
say
us what it
does
is
it
saying?
mean?
What is he conveying to you?
in simpler terms, I would say it's now happening. My interpretation, Chair, that it is now happening. That's the simplest way of explaining it from my side.
And what did he mean by that? What did you understand by that? What's
Something
happening?
is happening.
What is happening?
Something is happening now.
Okay.
General, did the raid that is described there happen? Was there such a raid? And this article is on the 8th of June, of February. Was there such a raid by the time you distributed this thing to Sergeant Nkosi?
I don't think so. It never happened. To me, I think it was wrong.
Yes.
It never happened, I think.
Where did you get this from to be able to send it to Sergeant Nkosi?
I think it is something that was in circulation.
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
It was being circulated. If I had my device or somewhere, I was going to be able to say this is where I got it from.
So it was being circulated by people on their phones? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay, and it was sent to you and then you forwarded it?
I'm one of the recipients. Maybe you might have received it from anywhere.
Okay. And why did you think it was necessary to share it with Sergeant Nkosi?
Like I said, Chair, I think earlier when I responded is that sometimes when you send it, you're not sure whether it's true or not, but you hope that someone can actually tell you something and say it's not true or it's true.
You didn't think to ask whoever sent it to you? I mean, someone sent it to you. Did you not? Why did you not think to ask them?
I might have. I don't know because I don't have the device, but I might have.
Thank you.
Okay, can we go to the next page 229? And it's chat number 3. It's another one of these news that are called breaking news, but it doesn't say what news outlet it comes from. You forward this to Sergeant Nkosi, another one of these press releases, breaking news, SAPS Crime Intelligence top spook not guilty. And Sergeant Nkosi then responds to you with emojis of laughing faces and hands praising. What was this exchange about? What were you trying to say to Sergeant Nkosi?
I was not saying anything to him.
Why did you share this?
Because it's a person that I normally would also send to him because we find that we have spoken about it maybe. Because this has got history. This thing has got history. The history behind this, the context here, it's important to put it. When General Khan was implicated together with General Kadwa of the DPCI. But when they were being charged, the DPCI doesn't charge General Khan, but they charge General Khan. They don't charge their General Khan, but CI charges General Khan. Then I say to General Kumalo, are you sure you want to charge General Khan? And especially expeditiously. So on a matter of 2021, expeditious, when a person has been working and you want to fire him to deal with this matter expeditiously, I suggest that why don't you take the normal route? And then he didn't agree. And then he charged General Khan expeditiously. And then as he charged General Khan expeditious, General Khan went to court, approached the court. And then I said to General Kumalo, don't go to court because you're going to lose. He didn't listen. Then General Khan went to court and then he won. So General Kumalo lost. So I said, but we told you not to go to court because you're going to lose, and he lost. Now, based on that, maybe perhaps I have had maybe a discussion, of course, or maybe it was just something that shows that he lost or he was cleared. So that is why I know the question is, but why was it important for you to share it with General Khan? I mean, with Ngozi, I've shared many with Ngozi of similar nature, in particular where it also involved General Mkhwanazi, because we were mostly talking about it.
What was this matter about, General? What was General Khan being disciplined for?
He was being disciplined for being involved in an operation together with the DPCI that involved people who were found to have been in possession of drugs. So General Khan was one of the people who were called, and then he apparently called the DPCI, and then I don't know who also he called. I am not so familiar with the facts of that particular matter, but safe to say that apparently General Khan called the DPCI took over the matter or whatever that happened. I don't know the facts. But in my case, when it reaches my desk, was to say, I don't suggest that you should, because I first called General Lebe and say, General, how do you intend dealing with this report from IPID that says these people must be charged?
So there was a report.
There was a report.
So you would know the facts because you must have read the report, which is also indicated in you being able to discuss it with General Kumalo not to charge. But you got the report, you read it, so you know the facts.
Yeah, there's a report that says they were supposed to be charged.
And the facts are what? The facts, and the facts, because we've had another witness testifying, and the facts that drugs got lost in an operation that General Khan was involved with, and he was being accused of a role or involvement in the disappearance of the drugs. I mean, you know those facts.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the exact facts. I read the report quite some time ago. Yes. I know the facts. My bone of contention was,
yes,
General, if General Lebeya was saying, I'm also disciplining him and then expeditiously, I say what happens on the left-hand side, let it happen on the right-hand side. Let us also then deal with him in that way. Then if General Lebeya said, no, this is an old matter of 2021 and I don't think I agree with this report of IPID. So I said to General Kumalo, it will be unfortunate if you were to charge General Khan expeditiously so when General Kadwa in the TPCI is not being dealt with the same way.
Okay.
Yes.
General, what I mean, I'm the one that asked you the question, so allow me to interrupt you because you have answered. In this page 229, so now we have cleared with you that you knew the facts and the facts involved allegations and a charge that General Khan had a hand or a role involvement in the loss or disappearance of drugs in an operation he was involved with. You have there, you forward this to Sergeant Ngozi, and then he responds with emojis. I must say I'm not an expert in emojis, but he's laughing. He sends you laughing emojis and hands that ordinarily, in my limited experience with emojis, indicate celebration. He responds, you send him this and he responds with that kind of celebratory, what I say is a celebratory response. What do you make of it? When Sergeant Ngozi responds this way to General Khan has been acquitted in what was serious allegations of misconduct.
If the news is that Sergeant Khan has been acquitted, And then the commissioner feels that maybe it was in a celebratory move. I think maybe to say someone has been acquitted and someone is in a celebratory, it's also.
Yes, what I'm asking you is when you receive this WhatsApp, which is a celebratory message, well, symbols, it has celebratory symbols. When you receive this, what I'm asking is what you share, the celebration, you not consent that a police officer who may not be guilty of misconduct has been acquitted of such serious misconduct. And he has a junior officer who is celebrating about it, your friend, of course, but a junior officer finds cause to celebrate about it. You were okay with that reaction from Sergeant Nkosi?
Well, I wasn't celebrating, and as far as I'm concerned.
No, I'm asking him, I'm saying about him. I agree you're communicating with Sergeant Nkosi. There's a reason why you're sharing this,
Yes.
General.
Yes.
And then you elicit or you evoke a response from him, which is a celebratory reaction. And I'm saying your DNC crime detection, and here's a junior officer who celebrates something like this. You were okay with it? And really, you can say yes or no.
No, as far as I'm concerned, because of the fact that he was already involved, him, between me and General Mkhwanazi, I didn't have a problem sharing with him. Similarly, so even General Mkhwanazi had no problem to share with Nkosi.
Okay.
But the fact that I've been reminded as Commissioner, as you were talking, is that the other thing that, as a background, that I was fighting with General Khumalo was in relation to the Khan's discipline was that the problem, General Khumalo, is the fact that you might be accused how you handling this matter. Firstly, you are doing it expeditiously when it's a very old matter of almost 4 years, 3 years old. Secondly, you go get General Mkhwanazi to be the chair. You go get General Khumalo, also from KZN. He was with the task force as well from KZN. I said, why don't you balance this thing? At least go get one of them from a different province. And then as a result of that, that is how it happened. That I ended up arguing with General Khumalo. But Nkosi was always aware, because me and him discussed a lot with General Mkhwanazi. We were working together in trying to make sure that the relationship is sound between ourselves.
Right. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to move on to page 224. Here at chat number 6. This is 8 February 2025. And it's a message, it's from you to Sergeant Nkosi, and you say, confirmed that investigating director told NASCOM today they are investigating Khumalo and his team, Ray, a list of offences. Do you want to comment on that?
I was reading Chair evidence. What questions was that?
Do you want to comment on that? You're informing Sergeant Nkosi of the investigation into Khumalo and his team.
Yes.
You're letting him know what information you've gleaned from either the National Commissioner or from the Investigating Directorate.
Do you want to
Just-
please repeat the question,
just-
Ms. Mason? Oh, sorry. Oh, still reading. Sorry.
You see why I take a little bit of time, Chair, is that I'm drawn to chart 6 straight, and I try to look at the previous above so that I can follow logic, and then it must flow as to how did we get here. Now I see up there it was like when you look at chart 3, it says she was informed this morning, either it happened last night or this morning. He was stabbed by a 23-year-old boy of next door. Told NASCOM today they are investigating Kumalo and his team a list of offenses. So, like I'm saying, I can't deny that I sent this. I'm operating from a position of weakness. Just to say that I don't deny I sent it, but I'm not sure whether all this chart, I must have sent them, all of them, whether there were some that could have been inserted. Why I'm saying this? When you remember when the head of IDEC was in Parliament at the Portfolio Committee, she did confirm that when she received Mr. Matala's phone, there were messages that were deleted and some were inserted. Now I'm sitting with a situation where I don't say, and I don't want to run away to that corner of saying maybe messages were inserted. If I did send them, I'll take them. If they were inserted at this point in time, because I'm operating blindfolded at this point in time. I'm flying in darkness now. I'm just saying, if I did send it, the question is, why did you send it? I don't know. But all I can say is that maybe I was just sharing to a person that I know that will know about this thing.
Okay.
General, the concern that I have with these messages, and maybe this makes the point very clearly, is that we have seen from evidence so far, as you've been testifying, that Sergeant Nkosi is speaking to Mr. Matala, speaks to Mr. Matsumi. You can say, well, there's nothing wrong with him speaking to General Shibiri because they are all in the SEPs, but you get information like this about a colleague of yours, and then you share it with somebody who is very close to people that are, at least, let me say Mr. Matala, one of them at least, is very much the subject of serious allegations against before us. This is in February 2025, and you are a senior person who gets this kind of information. I accept there's no context to it here, but there's been telephone calls. I want to assume that it's information you get by virtue of your position, and then you go and share it with a junior or 5 levels lower than you. Obviously not in a work context. It's not because of your job, because it has nothing to do with him. You're sharing with a friend. But that friend, on the evidence before us, until he answers, he will come back and maybe he will be able to explain, give us innocent explanations. But that friend, so far as we sit here, is someone who's close to Mr. Matala, and it's problematic that you're sharing information like this with him, for me.
Yeah, I understand, commissioners. The only concern that I have still is that you are sitting with WhatsApps or chats that are condensed into a series of charts that are coming from this one to that one. Where I'm sitting, I'm reading about a document that is being presented to me as evidence about the chart that supposedly took place between either certain individuals or myself being involved with my device not in my possession myself. So I really don't know how to say how it came about or why. I may be able to respond in some. In some, I may have to fall back and say, but look, I see this message, but whether I really send it or share this information in the absence of my devices as well, I will accept, because the bottom line is it shows chat between General Sibiya and Nkosi. I will accept. But I'm not so 100% sure as to whether could there have been any interference or inserted. I don't know.
I guess, for what it's worth, when Sergeant Nkosi testified, I think right at the beginning, he accepted that these chats are from his telephone. So he didn't raise issue with that. In fact, he was asked specifically, do you accept these are chats from from your telephone, your being Sergeant Nkosi's, and he accepted that. So he hasn't placed any particular chat in dispute.
I don't have a comment.
Thank you, General. Back to you, Ms. Esum.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can I take you to page 250? 250. Chat number 2. You there? Chat number 2.
250, chat number 2.
Yes, 26 June 2025. And here Sergeant Nkosi shares with you a News 24 article on the arrest of General Khumalo. You'll find the article. It's too small in that chat box, but you'll find the actual article on page 3033. There it is. Okay, so that's the article that Sergeant Nkosi sends to you on 26 June. This is about General Khumalo's arrest. Okay. And then immediately after sending you the article, in chat number 3, he says, are you there?
Yes.
He says to you, we are the ones effect arrest. And then he follows that immediately with another message saying, we still here. What did he mean by that? What did you understand by that?
I quite honestly speaking do not believe that Sergeant Nkosi could say we are the one effecting arrest, because it doesn't work for IDEC. And I know that General Khumalo was arrested by IDEC. I don't know under what circumstances would he be the one to have been there to effect the arrest.
Could it mean that he's saying we can take credit for the arrest because of the role that he played? By saying we are the one effect arrest, we still here, he's saying to you.
Does this come from the evidence leader, or is what the evidence leader suggests that come from Sergeant Nkosi? Because
No,
to say,
I'm asking you, You're saying it can't be that he's saying we are the one effect arrest because it wasn't Sergeant Nkosi that effected the arrest. I'm saying to you, could it be that what he's trying to say is that we, whoever the we are, take credit for it because of some role that he played that led to the arrest?
Maybe Ms. Hassim, before the general answers, I'm trying to find in my notes, I'm sure there is a set of WhatsApp exchanges where Sergeant Nkosi appears to be speaking to somebody else, and that somebody else is the one that's saying we are still here, we are the one that effected the arrest. So this may well be forwarded messages. I'm working through my notes and I'm trying to find where, because I did note it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible that Sergeant Nkosi forwarded that message to you to say we are the one affected arrest, we still here. So let's take it at that they were forwarded, messages that Sergeant Nkosi forwarded to you, meaning it was somebody else who wrote those texts. What did you understand by it?
I understand the way I understand it. I can't say why did I understand. What I understand now, he was telling me that we are the one affecting arrest. It could still be, we're still here. Let's say, for instance, because it came as a shock to everybody when they said General Khumalo is being arrested at the airport or has been arrested, and then I was not told. I didn't know. He reports to me. I didn't know. The National Commissioner didn't know, and then all of us didn't know. We were all trying to find out, and then I didn't know who to find out from. Then I also asked him, and then maybe he also asked somebody, and then somebody then said, we're still here, we are the one effecting arrest. So it's just possible for that.
Okay. So he's sharing information with you about the arrest.
It's possible.
Okay, so I think it's on the same page. It's at chat number 5 at 15:01. He sends a picture of General Khumalo, I think, being arrested. If you look at page 3, don't go to 304. You can just look at the screen. This might be easier than flipping back and forth. So you're saying he's just sharing that with you to keep you abreast?
Yes, but I can't see the people displayed there.
Okay. Let's just go to the chat below that. You'll see it's number 6 at 16:59. He sends you an image, and the larger version of that image is at page 305. And we'll just, okay, you might need to look at it because it's redacted. Page 305. Do you know what that is an image of?
It's someone's diary, but I see the diary on top, beneath the piece of paper where the list of names of the individuals that were arrested. And this could simply mean that maybe someone had to go and obtain a list of the people arrested and their names, SAP number, something like that, SAP 14 number.
Okay, so this is an image of the people who were arrested. It's firstly, it includes General Khumalo, you see that.
Yes.
And then others who were arrested with General Khumalo, is that right?
That's correct.
And the CAS numbers.
Yes.
And do you know where that image comes from that Sergeant Nkosi is sharing with you?
I really don't know because it's not my handwriting.
Okay.
Ms. Asim?
Yes.
If you look at 479, I think that's where I was reading. And if you look at this, when I said that he may have been forwarding from somebody else at 479, when you look at the timestamps, there's a sequence of communication which culminates in this document that you were looking at now, the diary. So 479 to 480. That's where I drew from, that someone else made the arrest and may have informed Sergeant Ngosi for whatever reason.
Well, maybe we can go there, General, to page 479. Okay, and if you have a look at those exchange of messages on 479 between you and Sergeant Nkosi. So this is a fuller version of the exchange. If you start at
It actually starts in the preceding page.
Preceding page. There's an image.
The image, yes.
And you'll see in that image, well, you can't see the image very clearly. It might have been it's a picture of somebody that Sergeant Nkosi sends to you. And then he makes a call to you. You respond to him saying, it's not him. He responds to you, say, people who arrested him, they were getting in cells in front, just zoom, meaning I assume zoom to the picture. And then it goes on with the picture of the article by the News 24 arrest. And then he says to you, General Gabriela and Brig Madondo, General Khumalo, are those the three who were arrested?
Yes.
And then again, we are the one effect arrest, we still here. And then that picture that we saw earlier from behind. And then he says to you, they are 7. And then he sends to you the list of the 7 with the case numbers. So do you, yes.
These are forwarded messages.
I think so too.
Quite honestly speaking, because if he got something and maybe he sends to me, this could have been because when you work with a person, you also know the language of a person. So I don't think this was just...
No, I think there are forwarded messages. Why is he forwarding all of these messages to you?
If let's say I said, I heard that this is happening, can you please check for me or find out? Or I don't know how, because under normal circumstances, I could speak to the DIVCOM, I could speak to any of the senior officials to tell me not Ngosi per se, but also, it's also possible that Ngosi came across it and just sent to me without me really interacting with him, because sometimes even when you get something, it's not like you invited it and he just sent. So I can't explain at this point in time and create an impression like we were really sitting, me and him, waiting for the arrest, and we were just, he was I was asking, he was coming back to me. It's something that he might have gotten and also forwarded.
And did you have any conversation with him about this after he forwarded it to you?
I'm not sure at this point in time.
Okay. I'm going to go to one last page. Well, one last...
Maybe before that, while I see that 478, General, do you know at 478, the very first chat, there's a long chat. You may read it if you wish, but the part that I'm interested in to hear your comment is where Sergeant Nkosi says, all these is an obstruction to your new position waiting for you. Whether they like it or not, you will resume that position. Do you know what he's talking about? What conversations were you having with him about the new position?
478.
And now with Ms. Hassan? 478? If you have, you may not have a comment, but I would like to hear what conversations were being had and why he would say what he said. It's chat number 1, and it's the 3rd paragraph from the bottom or from the top. All these.
This message must have been coming from, as you see, don't worry much general, which means somebody was talking to me and saying, this too is under the control of our Father. The Lord is watching when your name is being dragged and teared apart for no apparent reason. Look and watch the end of this. God wants to glorify himself with, because you said it publicly that you must trust and love the Lord. He will protect you publicly. Psalm 91, for God shall deliver you from the fowlers, experts of in traps, and arrows planned against, for God is with you. Family and prayer warriors, it's time to get to our winning corner and pray with our brother. Victory is certain. All this is an obstruction to your new position waiting for you. Whether they like it or not, you will resume that position. I have so much faith in you, my brother. You will make it. We are praying and will never be deterred. So this one.
Maybe firstly, you're saying this was forwarded. Sergeant Nkosi was forwarding to you from somebody.
No, I don't think it comes from Nkosi.
No, but this is... Oh, you are forwarding to Nkosi.
I must have forwarded to Nkosi.
I see.
All the people that are praying for me will say to me, this is difficult. As difficult as it is, we will pull through. Let's keep on praying.
I was more interested.
Even this one.
Yes.
It could be that because there was a time where the battle was fierce, where things were happening, and my name is not the first time being associated with corruption, but when you look at what is it that is corrupt that this man has done, you will never find any.
General, I understand the prayer part. I was asking about that paragraph which speaks about a new position waiting for you. Whether they like it or not, you will resume that position. I was simply asking, what was this a reference to? What conversations were happening about you having a new position? That's all I'm asking.
You see, Chair, I am a Christian. And when let's say, for instance, during my Thanksgiving ceremony, and those that were praying, and it was a church service, Thanksgiving, it was a big church service, then some of them will say to you, in fact, you're still going to experience more where God wants you to be. It will be in that context.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's an answer. Thank you, General.
Okay, the last page on this chat's General. It's page 254. Okay. Okay, chat number 1 and 2, you forward 2 screenshots to Sergeant Nkosi. But the actual screenshots you'll find on page 312. Are you at 312?
Yes.
Okay, so can you help us with this? Because you send these screenshots. It looks like a screenshot it's a conversation between someone and the National Commissioner. Again, it's forwarding that same News 24 article. And then it says, the person says to the National Commissioner, just so you know, I opened the case against this crook. I understand you have privately stated you will not suspend him or any of the others going down with him. You are given until Monday to suspend them all. I will launch an urgent application in the High Court and also call for your suspension. Louis Vuitton bag for the wife or not. And then the next message on the next screenshot is, any response, Fani, please? And then again, Fani, why you don't respond? I have another query. It is known that Khumalo flatly refused to report to DNC, saying he would only report to you. Why? Further, it has been alleged that when you signed off on the 2 million rand property purchases by CI, you not only failed to ensure a proper competitive process was followed, but you also received a substantial kickback for your flexibility. Would this explain the fact that when you were appointed as commissioner, you were in substantial debt, but are now 100% debt-free and living a life of luxury beyond your means? Please advise, I have requested Cyril to fire you in the interest of cleaning up the police. So these are the 2 screenshots that you forward to Sergeant Nkosi, right? He responds, Ziyakhala manje, etc. So where did you get these screenshots? Who's the person who's sending this to the National Commissioner?
I guess at this point in time, the evidence leader was the one that's supposed to say and to show me that this thing come from your phone and this is what is written on top. Because now at this present moment, you are asking me, who did I receive from? I don't know if I ever received it because I don't have my phone.
Okay, if that's your answer, that's your answer. I don't have your phone either. That's why I'm asking you, because you forwarded these messages to Sergeant Nkosi. So if you don't remember who sent this to you, and that's fine. Then
Yeah, all I know is that I'm not the author of this, and then as to where did I receive from, at this point in time, I'm not in a position to say. And whether this was an inserted message or not, I don't know. The only disadvantage with me is that I'm dealing in a situation where my phones are in some people that are accusing me's hands. And what they're doing with my devices, I don't know. Whether all these communications come from me or were inserted or someone's was saved as General Sibiya this said, someone was saved as General Nkosi just said this exchange is being sent and then posted here. I also don't know. I'm just saying where I'm sitting. I'm talking from a position of weakness.
Do you have any comment on what Sergeant Nkosi said in response to you after sending those WhatsApps?
Well, yeah, I see Ziyakhala manje.
And then the next one.
Abahambe, now is the time. I also don't know whether that's a forwarded message or not, but personally, the Ziyakhala manje, normally it's today's lingo. When something is happening, someone will say Ziyakhala manje. In many ways. Even myself, where I'm sitting like now, someone is writing something to somebody saying ziyakhala manje. Even when you listen to TikTok, someone is saying, hey, ziyakhala manje. So what I'm saying is that ziyakhala manje is the language of the day. So it's not as specifically designed only for this one. It's ziyakhala manje as I'm sitting here.
Yeah,
But general in context, ziyakhala doesn't mean TikTok or anything like that. It's about the arrest that is contained in these messages. It's about the arrest picture. It's about the messages that are being sent to General Masemola to say, you Louis Vuitton, I will also go to court and. So this ziyakhala, its context is this. And I mean, I don't know if it's capable of a direct translation, but what it does mean, I think we do understand it. It means this person is saying it's now happening.
It's now happening.
Yes, it's now happening.
So I was suspended. Someone said ziyakhala manje. So I'm just saying it's a language loosely used.
If Sergeant Nkosi said that to you, let's just forget about TikTok or the general public. If he said that to you, what would you understand him to mean?
It's now happening.
So that would be the context
That would be the context.
between the two of you.
In all instances.
The chair says ziyaduma.
Yes. And ziyaduma manje.
Old lingo.
Yeah, even now ziyaduma chair.
Okay, I'm going to leave that there. There's probably more we could ask you about it, but I think we've got the gist of your answer. So, General, there's only now one last topic that remains for me to address with you. And again, I must do this. It's my job. And I need to go back to your statement for this purpose. It's in relation to Mr. Brown Mokotsi, because you've given us a statement in which you deal with allegations of, in fact, your heading is allegations of a potentially corrupt relationship with Brown Mokotsi, and then you have 4 paragraphs on it. So you've given us your version on this. But Mr. Mokotsi has come here and has said things. So I'm going to say to you what his version is, so that
Advocate Hassim, I've suggested that they remove files 7, 8, 9. Are we done with them?
Yes.
And then they put his statement file next to him just so that he can follow.
And 10A, which is the transcript of 10A. The transcript of Mr. Mokotsi.
So, General, next to you is file 1, your original statement, and 10A. And you can remove the rest.
You ready?
Yes, Chair, I just wanted to ask an honest question. I've been here since this morning responding to 4 different senior counsels, and all of them asking difficult questions, responding. I sleep late, I wake up late, and I was told that, okay, today let's go up until 7 o'clock. We are now after 8. And I don't mind really having to respond to this, but I still believe that it gets to a point where a man's brain can only consume or absorb up to a certain under pressure. And I can go, But it's not a question of me proving to the country that I can go up until 12 o'clock midnight. But I'm just saying, at some point, I feel exhausted under the circumstances. And I can go read this thing, and then when we come back and deal with it. But if it's a chess ruling that, look, Ziakala Manje, you are here, let it be. I will go.
All I will say, General, is you referred to 4 senior counsel. I will say these are the 3 senior counsel. I used to be a long time ago. I'm even rusty now because I'm no longer senior counsel.
That one was a serious, honest mistake, Chair.
No, I'm just kidding, General. How long do you think this is going to be, Ms. Hassan?
Well, I have about 4 or 5 questions. It's not a lot, so subject to interventions from the panel, I'll put each of those and ask the witness to respond, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Ms. Killian, do you?
Speaking for myself, I'm exhausted, but it's not about me. If we can maybe just have a comfort break to continue after that.
We rather pull through rather than having another comfort break and coming back again. I feel I am mentally I'm exhausted, and I have to pull through.
Let us meet counsel outside. Let's adjourn.